Super Bowl Sunday is the biggest gambling day of the year. Now the government is trying to crack down on casinos to prevent illegally placed bets on behalf of third parties. I'm joined by Peter Skinner, partner at Boies, Schiller Flexner. Peter, first tell us, what type of action is the government taking?
Well, I think what they're really doing are two things. They're concerned first with, as you mentioned, bets that are being placed by an individual in a sports book on behalf of someone else. So you go in and you place a bet, but it's not with your money, it's with somebody else's money. That in and of itself is probably illegal. It might depend on specific state laws, but it's most likely illegal. That's the first thing they're concerned with. And the second is that also could be money laundering, using bets in order to launder money for criminals. So there's really two things that they're concerned about here.
So these runners who place bets at casinos, they can often easily fly under the radar. So how can major casinos like Las Vegas Sands or MGM, how can they really do more to catch these guys?
Well, you're right. They can fly under the radar, and I think what the casinos can be doing is a number of different things. They can be relying upon the observations of their own employees. Oftentimes these are repeat players. They get recognized in the sports books. They may sit there, they may be talking on their cell phones throughout the day, and it may be apparent that they're not typical bettors. They can also be using the data that they gather. When bets are being placed, the names of the people who are placing the bets, the timing of the bets, to aggregate some of that. And they also have a lot of their own techniques that I'm probably not even familiar with, but there's plenty that they can be doing. And the point is that they need to be doing it in order to try to identify when people are placing these bets, not with their own money, but with somebody else's money.
And you yourself have worked on cases involving this sort of thing. So are we seeing more of these types of cases? What's the trend? Are the punishments getting worse?
The punishments aren't getting any worse. I think there is a trend towards increased enforcement in this area. The casinos have always been covered by the money laundering laws, the laws that are at issue in this letter that was written by FinCEN, which is part of the Treasury Department. But the government is looking more and more at the casinos as a mechanism that's being used by criminals to launder money. This is particularly on the money laundering side of what they're concerned about. So there's certainly an uptick in government interest in and enforcement in the gaming industry and with casinos themselves. As far as the crimes themselves, it's not that the punishments have changed. I don't think the crimes have changed all that much. I think it's just that the government is looking here more than it used to.
Mm-hmm. So this is all about then the major players, the casinos, the gaming industry, the runners. Is this at all about the little guys who want to place a bet through a third party on Super Bowl?
I think the little guy is not at all at issue here. The government really does not focus on bettors. What the government focuses on are the people who are taking the bets or the people who are running an illegal gambling enterprise. But it's not about trying to find people who might be placing bets through a bookie or somebody who isn't operating a legitimate business. It's about the bookie or the casino who's not doing enough to identify when the bookie is using the casino sports book.
All right, great stuff. Thank you so much, Peter Skinner, partner at Boies, Schiller Flexner.
Thank you.
And I'm Brittany Humar for The Street.